Mic check, mic check. Back in this thing with some more wonderful topics to talk about. See, that's the beautiful thing about life is life always gives you something to talk about. I was gonna say open your mouth, but I don't want to have to do the pause thing, but life always gives you something to talk about. And the thing that I want to talk about today is like it has to do with a conversation that I had with a couple of people, and I'm gonna mash it into one. And I think that it's a beautiful thing to talk about because it allows you to think about life and your life in particular and how to go about it. And the conversation that I had with the person was about family. And we were talking about different dynamics of family and different titles that you have to other people. Me being, I'm a son, a grandson, a cousin, a brother, friend, a uncle, a co-worker. Like you have all of these different titles that you end up obtaining throughout life. Uh, some being the kind that you can't do anything about, and then others that you take upon, based upon the choices that you make, such as a father or, a husband. And so I was talking to this person and I was telling them about, having time for things. And there's a lot of things in life that I miss and aren't able to be there for because I'm focusing on trying to make something of my life. And when you're in your youth, you give a lot of time to the people that are in your life, your relatives, and they get a good amount of you. I mean, sure, a good maybe 10 years of it, 11 years of it is you just still developing and figuring out who you are, maybe 7 years, 7 to 11 years. But after that, they get all of you for up until you graduate from high school, and some, and not even some, but most people, it even lasts longer after you graduate after high school, well into your mid or late mid, 20s. And so you give a lot of this time to those people, and most of it is um things out of requirements, like you're kind of required to be a son, so there's moments that you have to take upon when it comes to being a son, or you know uh being a grandson, or whatever your titles are. And so you give a lot of time to those people, and once you kind of get into a mature level of life, then you start doing what is um then you start focusing on what it is that you are trying to accomplish and what is it that you came here to do. And the hard part is being able to balance the two of still wanting to be the friend, the brother, the cousin, the uncle, the titles. We'll just call them the titles. The necessity that you have. Hold on one more. Doing too much right. To the things that you do for these titles that you have, they end up having you uh in a place where you want to still be your titles, but at the same time you have to shift your focus to putting yourself in a position to have something better for yourself, or make something for yourself if you're already in a good position. And so what ends up happening is if you're actually dedicated, you end up having to choose between your purpose and the people that you love and that you care about. And they themselves have to do the same thing. And so you end up having to make an executive decision on when you can allocate time to those who had plenty of your time growing up. And I mean, I told the person that, listen, when I was growing up, my family got a lot of me, and now they don't get as much, if any, of me, or nearly as closest to the amount that they used to get, because I'm giving so much time to trying to make something of myself. And it's hard to stay focused on trying to make something of myself and trying to give time to the people that I love and care about. And they said, well, then that must be a lonely life. And he said, I couldn't imagine doing things and not, having my family be involved or having their input involved in what it is that I'm doing. And so I told him, I was like, I guess it can be, but I don't think that I'm alone. I still feel them in my thoughts and in my heart. I just don't really find the time to reach out. And it's not to say that I wouldn't have the time. It's just the energy that it takes to put on those hats takes away from the hats that I already have on. Not to mention trying to find time to, recharge my battery. And so, we got into a deeper conversation of, you know, at the end of the day, your life is yours. And sure, you share it with other people. And this is a self journey that you share with others. And if you want to actually have something to share with others, when you come from a situation like mine, then you have to be able to have a certain amount of time in your life where you just dedicate it to whatever it is that you're trying to dedicate it to. Or you still just trying to figure it out. But in the midst of trying to figure it out, you got to give a lot of time and effort and energy and focus to that. And so you're going to miss a lot of things that happen in life, and maybe that affects your relationship with those people. Or maybe, I mean, it shouldn't, but there's a lot of times that it does, because relationships require time. And it doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is. It's going to require your effort and time. And so if it leads to me having to be quote unquote alone or lonely for a period of time, then you have to realize, okay, well, what is it that I'm willing to sacrifice? And then on top of that, you have to think, yeah, spending time, like everybody might be different. Spending time with people, like with their family, might be what's most important to them. And that's what they want out of life. And I think that that's a community style of living. But if you really want to enhance the community and make a difference in the community, you're going to have to leave it and make something of yourself and for yourself and then come back to the community with the things that you created and obtained for yourself. And that's going to require a lot of effort out of you. And it got me to thinking that, like, you know, what is important? And in this self journey that you're having, sure, spending time with the people that you love can be important and it can be fulfilling. But at the end of the day, you're here to live your life, and you're here to make whatever you can out of your life, especially if you're a young man. And so I then had a conversation with somebody else, and I said to them, if something is inevitable, then why fight it? Shouldn't you live as though it has already occurred? And the meaning behind that is, like, if we know that we're gonna leave this life, we know that we're gonna die one day. So shouldn't you live your life as though you've already died? And what does that look like to you? What does it look like to live as though you are already dead? What are the things that you would say to yourself? If you could take yourself out of your shoes right now and put yourself in the shoes of the person that is 6 feet under the ground, what would that person say to the person now that they wish that they should have or could have did? And that's how you should be living your life. And maybe it's, I wish I would have made some more birthdays, and I wish I would have hung out with these people more. And for me, I feel like I would love to be able to spend the time with the people that I love more. But I also know that what's important to me is making myself proud and doing something with the time that I do have, that I could say when I'm 6 feet under that I did the things that I would hope that I would want to have done. And it sounds messed up when I say that it's involving my life in the people's lives that I love at this moment isn't what is a priority for me, because I don't really have much of anything to show for my life. And when I am with the people that I love, all I can think about is, how can I have something to show for my life, or the fact that I don't really have much to show for my life? And what good is it to be in the presence of somebody and not be present? Therefore, I would rather just not be present, because I'm not going to be present when I'm there anyway. And maybe that's selfish. But on a self journey, you have to be selfish. You have to be about yourself on this self journey. Because if you're not about you, then who's going to be about you? You can't expect the people that you love to live your life for you. It's impossible. They can't do it. I think what would make me most proud is having a life that I can look back on and say, maybe I missed a lot of the most important things, but I left things for those people that can, I guess, make up for the time that I wasn't there. Or maybe the hard work that I put in will give me time down the line to be able to give more time to those people if they still have a willingness to want to spend it with me because I've missed so much. But what is inevitable is that you will no longer be here one day. And I think that that if we understand this, if we truly grasp the fact that one day we're not going to be here, then that means it has already occurred. We're just really kind of winding back the time until it actually occurs. But it's going to occur. So if it's going to occur, then it already has occurred. And that can allow us to ask the real question, which is, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of your life? And if you're not going to be here, then all the things that you obtain and all of the memories that you have, what do they matter? And then it goes into whatever you believe in after that, you know? And to me, what would matter the most is the knowledge and the experience that you gain in just playing the game. And you could play the game as a community, but there'll be things in the community that the community learns that you don't learn. And sure, you can take the advice from the community and make decisions based upon what the community has come up with and the senses of the community, but you really wouldn't know unless you yourself had actually gone out and did it. And so, you know, I look at it as I when you're in your youth, you give your time to the people that you love and that you care about. And then there comes a point in time when you're selfish and you have to be about you in your life and what experiences you need to have because the clock is ticking. You're this, it's inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. It's unavoidable. So you should be living knowing that the unavoidable is happening and living as though it has already occurred. Metaphorically speaking and also literally speaking. So sometimes I'll do things in my life as though the people who love me, I'm already dead to them, even though I'm technically here. And some would say, well, why? What's the purpose of that? Why would you do that? And part of me is just following what my spirit is telling me to do. I'm here to learn what I'm here to learn. This is a self journey that's shared with others. And I can't like let myself get caught up in the dogma and then not learn as much as I possibly could learn by just going out and being a failure. And you gotta, if we think about it on a deep way, like, there's your spirit and that's you, and then there's your body, which is the vessel that you use in this world, and then there's the world. And the spirit is here to do what it's here to do and learn what it's here to learn. And the body is the vehicle to help get it done. And the body is inside of the world. And so while you're in here, yes, you're sharing it with other people. And so you'll have different layers of importance. And a lot of times what the world does is it makes us think that importance starts outwards and then it comes inwards. And I think it's the opposite. I think that importance starts inwards and then it works its way outwards. Once I can fulfill what it is in my spirit that desires things to be accomplished, then I can work on the things that are in of my body, of my vessel in the world, and then I can affect the world. But if my spirit isn't happy or at ease or feels like it's on the path that it needs to go to, then my body is not going to be moving the way that it should to make a difference in the world that I'm living in or the people that are in it. So like if you're a Christian, they say, "Oh, well Jesus is coming back or God's coming back and the Armageddon or the end of days." All of these different religions have like their end times and they say, "Oh, well we're getting closer." And I've been hearing people say we're getting closer forever. And so if this is the case, then it's inevitable because God said that it was gonna happen. And so I should just be living as though it happened already. And what can I take with me? Nothing. But I can possibly take with me the experiences that I had here in trying to pursue what my soul wants to pursue. And maybe your soul wants to pursue uh earthly things of just having your community. But I think that you have I think that you get a better feel and a feel of success with your community when you've maxed out your self journey. But if you don't max out your self journey, then you might end up being a detriment to the community. And I would want to be someone that affects the community in a positive way rather than knowing that I gave time to the community, but it wasn't positive or negative. It just was. I was just there. Oh, I'm here to get you gifts, or I spent time with you during this time, and I was there to talk with you during these things. But what do those things really do for my soul's journey in particular? What do you take with you living in a way that doesn't allow you to squeeze out every bit of whatever is in your soul to do before you give to the community? And us not being here is certain to happen. So, what do you want your legacy to be? And like I was talking with the first person about relationships, I said to them, I said, well, there's two things that could occur. What if I was a bum, but everybody who knew me said that, oh, he was a great son or he was a great insert title, but he was a bum and he always needed help and he always needed other people to intervene in his life. whether they did or not. But he was a great son or a great title. Or maybe I wasn't known as one of those great titles, but I accomplished things in life that left behind things to those people. You know, what is, and sure, those are two extremes, but what would be deemed as success in this life or important in this life? And maybe to you, it's important to have people say he or she was a great insert title. Or maybe it's important for you to people say that, you know, maybe he didn't have the best, or he wasn't, or she wasn't the best insert title, but they were focused on trying to accomplish whatever they came to accomplish and they did it. Or even if they don't actually achieve it, all they focused on was maximizing out whatever was in their soul to max out. What is of importance to you? Because the inevitable is happening, and it has already occurred. We're just waiting for it to happen. And I want to realize and self-realize the power that's in me to create, and it's a word that is turned bad, but manifest a reality for me while I'm here, and feel myself and see myself start where I started and then make something of myself that seemed as though it may not have been possible. That would make my soul feel very um happy, or feel like I've achieved what I came here to do. To me, what would make my soul happy is knowing the circumstances that I come from and doing magic and finding a way to change the circumstances by which I reside in. And to look back and go, look at what I did. I started with this and look at where it ended. That would be awesome to me. And everything else would be secondary. And it's not to say that I don't deeply love the people that I love, because I do. But the importance that they have in my journey is second to my journey. And I would hope, and I feel like I see that I'm second into their journey. And that's the way that it should be. And then when we all find time to give each other time, that's what we do. And if we don't, we don't. Because we gave each other a lot of time in our youth. And now it's time to maximize what our soul wants to accomplish or do. Because if not, then if you're going to be a community living person, then you got to do it from the very beginning. Everything has to be community. We got to plan out when each other's going to have kids, when we are going to go to school, when, like, everything would have to be community driven. But if everything isn't community driven, then that means somebody's doing something on their own terms. And I don't want to be the person who's not doing things on their own terms and only doing everything for the community and being left out when everybody else is doing things on their own terms. And that doesn't negate the love. Because I don't think love is just it's not just a feeling. It's something that is deep within there. There's a connection there to these souls that you grew up with. There's a reason why you grew up with the people that you grew up with. And I don't think that it's just by coincidence. You could have been born anywhere in the world to anybody in the world, but you were born to the people that you were born to in the city that you were in with the people that were in the same circumstance. So I'm already tied to these people. My soul already knows these people. And if I already know them, then why do I have to keep knowing them? And this is not to say that the time spent with them is not magnificent. It is. But it could be more magnificent if I maximize myself. And it's hard to do that with like dogma in the way. It's hard to do that with community think. You got to separate yourself from the community to actually figure out what it is that you want. And I find myself still trying to be 100% in on what it is that I'm trying to pursue, because I know what I'm trying to pursue and I know what I want to do. I'm just trying to figure out, well, how do I do it? How do I become one with the God that's in me to conceive a thing? And I would love for it to happen while in this consciousness so I can take it with me on the next consciousness. But there's no sense in playing the game and not trying to hit a home run. You know, if you want to play it safe, you got to come from a circumstance that allows you to play it safe. But if you come from circumstances that don't allow you to play it safe, then you should just swing for the fences and see if you can hit a home run. And if you strike out, then strike out swinging. But why be on a sorry team and have a really good on base percentage and knowing nobody can get you home? Let that sink in. Why be on a sorry team or come from a team that's not that great at winning just to be that guy who always gets on base? Sure, you're batting 390. You're batting 410. And you're just always getting on base. But you're always left on base. Nobody's bringing you home. If you don't have the community of people that can help bring you home, then why get on base? I'm swinging for the motherfucking fences all the time with everything. Because why not? Why get on base just to be like, oh, well, nobody's bringing you home. Go ahead, head back to the dugout. Go back on defense. Nah. I'm going to just swing for the fences. And if it works, then I just hit a fucking home run. And I gave the team a better chance of winning by hitting that home run than trying to play it safe and hoping that somebody else is going to bring me home. Is that teamwork? Maybe not in the moment, but in the grand scheme of things, it is teamwork. Because if I can get as many runs as I can get by myself, maybe we're not getting a bunch of runs, but by me getting on base, by me hitting home runs, maybe somebody that I love can get on base later on in the game, And I've gotten so good at hitting home runs that when you're on base, I could bring you home because I didn't have nobody to bring me home, but I can bring you home because I'm about to hit this home run. That's how I'm playing the game. That's how I choose to play the game because it's inevitable that the game is going to end. Why play it safe? And that is my message to you. Because I think it kills the God in you when you prognosticate. Oh, well, what if things don't work out and what are you going to have? What if things do work out? So I try to just be in the moment, you know. My relatives are my relatives and my family is going to be whoever is there at the time. Whoever is there at the time while I'm pursuing what I'm trying to pursue, you're my family. Until I can spend time with my relatives. And I love everybody all the same. But my journey has to come first for me. You know, my pops Wayne, he's a father figure for me. And he once told me, I'd rather you be mad than me be mad. And I try to internalize that in a healthy way. I would rather the people that I love be mad at me for not being able to give them more of my time than me be mad that I gave them my time and my life equated to playing it safe. Because I love them so much that I would rather swing for the fences and leave something on the board for them, even if it's just motivation. And I think that that's always the hardest part is loving people that much, where you're willing to sacrifice yourself for them, even if they can't see it. So thanks for chilling with me, listening to me yap. I've been told by my little sister I'm a good yapper, so I figure why not yap to the world? And whether a million people plus listen or nobody listens, at least I'm leaving something for the people that love me. It's been a good one. It was fun. Until the next time, people, stay suave, stay stupid, and I'll see you on the next one.